Welcome back to a very serious and somber channel on YouTube where we have to read things like this. I got a MrBeast burger and my stomach feels bad. I was having explosive diarrhea for 5 days. Never ordering again. As I mentioned in the last video, and if you haven't seen that, here's a link to it. If I can figure out how to put a link in, I'm going to put a link in right here. We are doing 1-star reviews or just bad reviews of MrBeast Burger because there are so many bad reviews of MrBeast Burger that it is hilarious. This video is very timely because if you haven't been following, MrBeast is under some heat. Not just for an employee that he formerly worked with, but also just for some other things. But what I want to put forth to you is much funnier than that. It's way less serious, and it's just about how he opened a burger joint that basically has completely flopped entirely. And it's flopped because whoever has expanded this thing so quickly through the use of ghost kitchens has done it in a way that the consistency is just not there at all. And so some people, seems like very few people, have had really good experiences with MrBeast Burger. Most people have had really bad experiences when they're ordering MrBeast Burger. And so Jimmy, MrBeast, is actually suing the company who expanded this very quickly. All that being said, there are a ton of funny reviews of MrBeast Burger like the one we just read. This man had explosive diarrhea for 5 days, which makes me think it actually was probably more of an illness than just a foodborne thing, because that feels like way too long. But if that's actually true, that for 5 days he was having explosive diarrhea, scientists need to investigate MrBeast Burger to be used in warfare against our enemies. Because again, if you can incapacitate an entire enemy army for 5 days, you can take over a country. Which means whatever was in this MrBeast Burger that caused 5 days of explosive diarrhea, if we can weaponize that against an enemy, we can incapacitate an entire country and take it over. I'm just saying, Navy SEAL team, you should probably look into this. Okay, next up, we have 2 reviews that are more serious than just inconsistent food, and they relate to undercooked food. So first we have E, and E says this: 0 stars. Received an uncooked Nashville chicken sandwich from the Fairburn, Georgia location. My son took a couple of bites before I saw pink. I'm disgusted, appalled, and can't stop shaking. All of the potential illnesses that can come from uncooked chicken, and MrBeast Burger is serving it up. If my child becomes ill, this won't be the last you hear from me. Now, that review in itself is shocking, but you might be tempted not to believe people on the internet, because if you haven't noticed yet, people on the internet tend to lie about things. However, E attached this photo with the review. That photo is unreal. Like, the chicken is completely raw in the middle. It's like they breaded a raw chicken breast and cooked it in the deep fryer just until the breading cooked, like 25 seconds in the deep fryer, and then pulled it out. And this is like a medium rare chicken breast, which is not something that people should eat according to the FDA. Now, I don't always listen to the FDA. For example, I eat yolks with runny eggs, which the FDA says I will die from. However, this is something that I don't do. I don't eat medium rare chicken. If you do eat medium rare chicken, please leave a comment so we can discuss. Okay, we've got another review from Skyler here, who just says, ate here and got raw food. Now, Skyler, I'm a little bit more skeptical on, because there is no photo attached to this review. Is Skyler a liar? Maybe. Is Skyler telling the truth? Maybe. We will just simply never know. But here's one thing that I do know. Skyler still ate the food. He says he ate there, and he got raw food. So he bit into it, got raw food, noticed it was raw, ate the food. That is borderline reckless. Next up, we have another very serious problem. Mariana says this: I found a worm in my burger. You know, it's always been interesting to me that we think that worms hide in apples. Apples are kind of gross. And I don't know if I was a worm that an apple would be the thing that I seek out to, plant myself in and eat myself to death as a worm. I think I would probably seek out something tastier like pizza. And so we're always checking our apples as a society for like holes in them to see if there are any worms in the apples. We should be checking tastier foods for worms, like burgers, like MrBeast burgers, like pizzas. I'm just saying, if you were a worm, why would you choose an apple over something like a Papa John's stuffed crust cheese pizza. Like, I would much rather have the cheese pizza, and I think we need to just be looking for wormholes in basically anything that we eat. And I'm just now noticing that when I said wormholes, that's also the thing where you jump from one side of space to the other. We shouldn't be looking for those wormholes in our food, although if we find one, we should alert our nearest scientist. However, we should be looking for the wormholes that worms eat in the food that we eat. Thank you so much for listening. Next, we have Lachlan. Lachlan says this: Mr. Beat didn't give me money. You heard that right. Once again, that is Mr. Beat didn't give me money. Lachlan, the premise of a restaurant is you are the one who gives the money. Mr. Beat's job in this case is to give you Mr. Beat Burger, which is a burger made out of beets. Bears, beets, Battlestar Galactica. But the point is this, Lachlan. Mr. Beat does not need to give you money because you came to his restaurant. That doesn't make any sense. If it makes you feel better, Lachlan, Mr. Beat didn't give me money either. And I've been asking, and I will ask again. Dear Mr. Beat, please, please, give me money. Please. Next up, we have a review from Constance, and Constance says this: poorly packaged food with no labels. One of the orders was an Impossible Burger, and there was no way to tell which one. I would rate a 0 if I could. Constance couldn't tell which was the real burger and which was the Impossible Burger. Found that difficult? Maybe did you even find it impossible? Look, Impossible Burgers are getting really good if we literally can bite into them and can't tell the difference between beef patties and Impossible Burgers. I think especially if you're vegetarian or vegan, that is a little bit terrifying, because you might be eating like the best Impossible Burger of your life, but you don't realize that you're just eating a regular burger, and your friend accidentally took the Impossible Burger that you guys ordered, and you're just eating a regular burger, and you don't even realize it. That's how good Impossible Burgers are. Next up, Thomas says this: 5 stars. Ag, 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 ag. I saw him. Ag, 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 ag. Is Mr. Beast Jesus? He attaches this photo, which presumably he took of Mr. Beast when he saw him, and maybe the best moment of his entire life, according to this review. Thomas, I did want to inform you, you can actually go to the 2 separate Wikipedia pages. You can open Mr. Beast in one tab, and you can open Jesus of Nazareth in another tab, and you'll find out pretty quickly they actually are 2 distinct figures in history. They are not the same person. They do different things. One of them makes YouTube videos, the other like resurrects souls from the dead. It's a different kind of occupation. I would recommend, Thomas, for real, take a look at the Wikipedia pages just so you can verify for yourself that they are in fact 2 different people. Finally, we have a review from our friend Jaquan. And Jaquan says this: extremely disappointed. My order not only took 3 hours, but I never received my food. I will never order from here again. Lost another loyal customer. All I want to do is understand what happened when Jaquan went to this MrBeast burger, or rather when this MrBeast burger came to him, because you can't go to MrBeast burger, you have to order it, and then the ghosts prepare it in the ghost kitchen, and a physical person picks it up from the ghosts and drives it to your house. What I want to understand is what happened, Jaquan. You say your order took 3 hours, and then you say you never received your food. And to me, these are 2 mutually exclusive items. On one hand, my order took 3 hours. On the other hand, I never received my food. I don't imagine a world where there's a Venn diagram where those 2 things can happen at the same time. You either received your food in 3 hours or you didn't receive it at all. What took 3 hours if it wasn't your food coming to you, waiting to be delivered to you? I'm so confused. You seem to have stepped out of time and reality itself. And the only way that I think you maybe could have done this is through the use of a wormhole. And not the holes that worms are eating in our food, but the space-time continuum wormhole, where you've stepped out of reality and somehow you exist in a dimension where both your food took 3 hours and you never received it. And I'd like to know where and when you located this wormhole so that I can alert my nearest trusted scientist. As I said in part 1 of this series, I will say it again now, if you are still watching this video, I love you more than MrBeast loves getting YouTube views. And I think that that should honestly frighten you from watching anything else that I create, because MrBeast's entire existence is dedicated to getting more YouTube views. As is mine, and it's going really well. I got about 20 views on the last 2 videos that I did. So, I mean, frankly, I'm completely blowing up and nobody can stop me. But listen, if you liked the video, if you could share it, that would mean the world to me. Thanks so much for watching. We'll see you next Friday.